Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this week's Learning and Development seminar. We will be discussing elements of writing marketing content. And before we get started, I just want to make one thing very clear. I feel this session can be very beneficial for everyone, even if you feel you are outside of the marketing department. We are all sales and marketing professionals. We are all trying to elicit some sort of action or some sort of response from people when we are communicating with them, whether it's written or verbally. And so today we are going to talk about some tried and true methods that will really help increase the effectiveness of our written and essentially in our verbal communication as well. So before we get started, just want to give you a quick outline of where we're going for today. First, we're going to talk about the why we're writing, why we're communicating. And second, we're going to go over the AIDA model, which is a formula that advertisers have been using for years and years and years. And this kind of four-step process will help us create some really effective written and verbal communication. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, we're going to start with the why. So this is very important. Before we begin writing, before we begin communicating, it's important to know why. Why are you writing? And why should someone do what I'm asking them to do? And this goes hand in hand with our third bullet there, which you'll see, which is what's in it for me. So what's the value that we are going to be offering our readers or our audiences when we are writing? Again, so 3 questions to ask yourself before you begin. So why are you writing? Why should someone do what I'm asking them to do? And lastly, what's in it for me, or essentially what's in it for them? Once you have answered those 3 questions, then it's appropriate to start moving into the actual written communication. And to do so, we are going to suggest that you follow a model. Again, it's called the AIDA model, and it's been used for years and years by various advertisers. So the AIDA model, so the design and development of advertising communication follows the AIDA model. So we're going to walk through that together. The effectiveness of advertising depends upon to what extent the advertising message is received, accepted, and action is taken by the target audience. So that's how we measure our results. The effectiveness is if someone takes action based on what we are saying. So research has identified for an advertisement to be effective, for someone to take some sort of action, it has to, number 1, attract attention, 2, secure interest, 3, build desire for the product, and finally, 4, obtain action. So you can see this is where we get the acronym for the AIDA model: attention, interest, desire, and action. So our next step will be to walk through each of the components of the AIDA model to see what goes into it and how you can use it to structure a very effective form of written communication. So first, attention. So this is the first hurdle for any piece of writing, to capture the reader's attention. This is what keeps them going. If we don't capture that attention right away, they won't finish, and therefore they'll never get to the action that we're asking them to take. So we need to start with a concept that's deeply relevant and timely to the audience that we're trying to reach. We can ask ourselves a few questions to help come up with that attention-grabbing headline and to help us come up with those relevant and timely concepts that will really get to the heart of your readers. And we'll talk about that in the next slide, really trying to identify what those things are that will really grab their attention. So your headline and lead paragraph are the 2 most important areas to capturing your prospect's attention, what they see first. And obviously, a paragraph format is going to be used more in most forms of writing or email communication. But if you have the opportunity to design something, you can rely on a different mix of stimuli. So you can use typography, color, layout, graphics, size. All of those components can play into grabbing someone's attention. So once we've grabbed their attention, we're going to, first we're going to talk about some questions when it comes to grabbing someone's attention. So these are the questions that we should be asking one another. So first off, who is reading this piece? You need to develop a persona for them, what they look like, gender, location, family status, employment, income, interest. So incredibly important to know who your audience is. This will help you really identify with them. Second is, what is their most pressing problem relating to the topic that we're writing about? What keeps them up at night or makes them sick to their stomach when they think of a specific issue? Our job is going to see how what we are asking them to do or what we are wanting them to do is going to help solve that. Again, so our third bullet point, so what kind of solution is this piece offering to their problem? Is it the introduction to an idea that could shift the way they think about their lives or a product that they can go out and buy? How specifically will it solve their issue? Again, these are all great components to think about when building our headline. How does my audience talk about their problems? What are powerful words or concepts that would immediately create resonance? So really try to identify with your audience. Use words that they're familiar with. Use words that they use. That is what will make them, again, it makes them comfortable. It helps them to identify with something. So these are all great questions that you should ask before constructing your headline or before constructing your headline or that first paragraph that will really attract that attention. So now that we have their attention, we have to build their interest. So this is where we can help our readers see how well we understand their problem, how well we understand them. This is where we can start to build our argument or a story. These can be great if you have personal experiences that you can share, demonstrations and illustrations. It allows you to create more of a rapport with your readers. This is also when you can showcase a lot of the features and benefits of what you are either selling or a product or trying to get them to do an experience. This is where we establish a need. We show our readers that they need this. We start to create a bond with them. So again, interest, very, very much so features and benefits oriented. And now we're going to move into desire. So desire can be a hard place to get to. It's where we kind of have to flip that light switch where we go from the emotional curiosity or interest to, I want that for myself. I need that. That's desire. That's what we're trying to get to. So we're trying to convince the reader that they want and desire the product or service, and that it will satisfy their needs. It will help to solve that problem that they're facing. The desire is like a fire. It can be stoked by many methods. One way to help to stoke that fire is by tapping into emotion. Some of the easier emotions to tap into, fear and scarcity, peace of mind. Those are definitely things that people can relate to very easily. Status is also another one that has proven to be pretty effective. There are lots of other emotions that you can tap into, and it's really important that those emotions be very relevant and true to your audience, to their problems, and to the solutions as well. So you can't always use the same one. Another thing that is very beneficial when trying to create desire is to use specific features and benefits. You can use case studies, testimonials, to really back up those claims, to really give some meat to the desire section. So again, desire can be hard to create, but again, it's flipping that switch to, I need this for myself. And lastly, we're always trying to create some sort of action, trying to get people to respond in some sort of way. And this is our last step of the AIDA formula. So this is where we try to lead our customers or our readers towards taking an action or eliciting some sort of response from them. So everything that we write should have a call to action. Either even if it's just an email. It should have a call to action. Again, this is where those initial questions, the why are you writing, is so important. So you are creating a piece of content for a specific reason. Make sure that the reader knows what that reason is. Be very clear with your writing. Be concise. State the obvious. Sometimes I think we're a little hesitant to state the obvious, but sometimes it just needs to be that simple. Calls to action, they should be simple statements that let the readers know what you want them to do. Again, clear and concise. It could be buy a product, sign up for a newsletter, watch a video, register for a training, attend an event, even respond to an email. That's a simple call to action, but sometimes it needs to be stated, nice and clear and concise. Another component to action that we're going to talk a little bit about is really thinking about the design of your content, and us marketeers like to call it user experience. Really putting yourself in your audience's shoes and thinking about the layout, whether it's a design layout or just a written layout, button structure. If it's something digital, does it support your prospects taking action? Is it simple? Is it easy to follow? Does it make sense? That's all user experience. So if it's difficult for someone to figure out how to take the next step or how to take action or respond or sign up, people often won't. So it's really important for us to make sure that we walk through what we're trying to get them to do from their point of view. And the next slide that we're going to talk about, and it goes along with that, anticipate and eliminate. So it's important that we anticipate and eliminate the risk that would stop people from doing what you want. So maybe there's a privacy concern when signing up for a newsletter. Just have a clear, simple privacy policy statement. Or maybe they're afraid of parting with money if you're trying to get them to sign up for something that's pretty costly. You can offer a guarantee. Again, really try to think about all of the things that would make someone hesitant or make someone get lost in kind of the experience of how do I do this. We want to make things as simple as possible so that it increases the number of people that will take that action, respond, register, attend, sign up, all of those call to actions that we're trying to get people to achieve. And our last bullet here is just the more that you think about why people won't take action, the better positioned you'll be to make the most of the opportunity. So again, it's really important for us to put ourselves in our reader's shoes, really think about the experience, and that will give us the most leverage when we're trying to get someone to respond. So lastly, I just want to do a brief summary again of AIDA. So AIDA is attention, interest, desire, and action. Attention, ask yourself questions to understand your audience. Super important to know your audience, who they are, what they like, what are their problems, how can I be a solution to their problems. Grab their attention with relevant content, attractive graphics, titles. And then we move to interest. So tell the reader how well you understand their problem. Start to build your story, start to build that rapport with the reader with demonstrations and illustrations. Again, this can be very heavily focused on features and benefits. Next, we move to that desire stage, which is where we really try to flip that switch to the I need this. We need to build a unique brand image and must-have effect. We need to tap into emotions and back them up with facts, case studies, and testimonials. And lastly is our action. We need to have some sort of call to action: purchase, order, attend, sign up, watch, respond. We need to make our call to action as simple as possible and anticipate any roadblocks. So that kind of wraps up and sums up the AIDA model. I hope that you all found it very useful. And I encourage you to start using it in your daily communication, even simple email correspondence. If you're trying to get someone to do something, think about the AIDA model, grab their attention, build their interest, switch to desire, and then what's the action that you want them to take. We truly believe that if you start incorporating AIDA into more forms of your written and even verbal communication, that we really think that you will start to see a more effective form of communication and start seeing more results from your communication. So we hope that you have enjoyed our seminar today for learning development on writing marketing content, and we hope that you have a great rest of the week. Thank you.